I do need to talk about Bjergsen.
He's like one of the best mid laners in the world.
And I think he's the second best mid laner in the world.
Bjergsen was legitimately like one of the top 5 mids in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Summer Split MVP, Bjergsen!
To many Newer League of Legends fans, they see Bjergsen and think passive, risk-averse, and overhyped. But there was a time international players respected and even feared Bjergsen. And in this video, I show you why. In early 2014, TSM made the bold move of signing Bjergsen, a 17-year-old Danish mid laner from Europe. This was totally out of the box at the time, but this gamble changed everything.
And he's gonna go for the kill under turret.
Oh my gosh, he has a W denying that. Can he get over the wall?
Oh,
He
no.
does, but he finds solace there on the back. Oh my god! Oh, stunned, so it's everything they can hit now. Follow up. Actually, he goes down to it's gonna be a slow one, but he's
From the moment Bjergsen stepped onto the Rift in North America, he raised the bar of greatness. Never before had NA seen such a player with such a complete set of mechanics and playmaking. He was so far and away the best at his role individually speaking that you already saw conversations of Bjergsen being the best player in the league.
I mean, Bjergsen's just crushing everyone mid.
He single-handedly wins his lane almost every game.
He's arguably like the backbone of TSM right now.
He's just absolutely crushing everyone, and he's clearly a big playmaker. He's an amazing player.
Bjergsen ended the spring season with a 5.8 KDA and led the league in solo kills. His closest competition, High, finished in third. TSM ended spring with a 22-6 record, with Bjergsen winning the weekly MVP in his first 2 weeks. Now during this time period, TSM was getting sent packing by Cloud9 and High on a regular basis. But that changed after Bjergsen came along. No matter how well-oiled of a machine Cloud9 was, Bjergsen was just too much to handle.
The championship.
the ace. That's the game. TSM goes the full 5 and takes down Cloud9 to be the 2014 North American champions.
Hoisted high.
But at Worlds, it got even better. TSM had ended the previous year's Worlds in embarrassing fashion. But with the new man in the mid lane, TSM made it out of groups. They stood there on the quarterfinal stage, facing off against Samsung White, one of, if not the greatest, team of all time. And TSM won a game.
TSM let the lead go to waste into the front there, but they close in on it. If they can't take down Pawn or Imp, and that's the Nexus. We're going again.
Losing that series was a bigger testament than anything.
What's your take on this match?
Bjergsen played really well. Bjergsen is like a really clutch player. He's really solid and consistent, can carry a single game.
This Bjergsen kid has potential. Now what if I told you that all of that, everything I just told you, was before Bjergsen hit his prime? If you thought Bjergsen was dominant his first year, imagine what he could do with some more experience under his belt. By week 5 in the split, TSM was sitting comfortably in first place.
Ooh, Calitro's got him from dead. Oh, TSM go aggressive, all tech. One hit from dead. Wild. Very convincing victory.
Then the team was invited to participate in the IEM Katowice World Championship. Now this IEM was a non-Riot hosted tournament, and it didn't feature all the best teams in the world, but it did feature a top Korean seed in GE Tigers. The GE Tigers would later become the Ku Tigers and then the Rox Tigers. It also had mid laners like GA from China and Maple from Taiwan. How would TSM's man in the mid lane fare against some of the most talented up-and-coming mid laners in the world? He would rise to the top.
I think the Death Mark's got quite enough damage for the Shuriken. Cyrus on Santorin, but once the last one's going to go down, come through, but Spirit going low and he'll be finished.
And there we go. She is going to get
Engaged, the stun comes.
Bjergsen completely showed out the entire tournament, and TSM won the trophy, making it the first international event a North American team had won with a Korean team present since 2011. Bjergsen took home the MVP. Normally teams that win mid-split or mid-season tournaments tend to fall off when they return home, but Bjergsen wouldn't allow that. Bjergsen finished the season averaging a 6.7 KDA and a 76% kill participation across 8 different champions, and he took home his first MVP trophy. Then in the playoffs, he elevated his level of play again, averaging a 7.8 KDA. TSM dismantled Cloud9 much easier this time, with Bjergsen taking home the finals MVP. It seemed like every tournament Bjergsen played, he was just waiting to win the MVP. But at MSI, you started to see some cracks in the armor. The expectation for TSM heading into the first mid-season invitational was high. One could argue they might have even been a dark horse contender in the tournament, mainly off the back of Bjergsen's performances.
Bjergsen dominated North America more than any other mid laner dominated their own region of the major regions we've seen here.
I expect this guy to take a mid lane against almost anyone and just feel comfortable. Like, he's so good.
But Bjergsen's performance at the tournament left a lot of fans depressed and uninspired. He spent the tournament having little to no impact, reverting to passive play against stronger international competition. And the failure overseas infected TSM's domestic performance as well. The team wasn't nearly the dominant force it was in spring. Bjergsen's teammates started to fall off, make more mistakes, and lose confidence, and he was tasked with carrying them over the finish line. Hence the meme, Bjergsen in 4 words. But that wasn't the only issue. Bjergsen was also asked to take on more of a shot calling and leadership role, something he had never asked for. Despite losing in the finals to CLG 3-0, it was clear as day Bjergsen wasn't the problem. Bjergsen finished the regular season with a 7.1 KDA. Heading into Worlds that year, expectations for the reeling TSM were low. Now, I would love to tell you that against all odds, Bjergsen carried TSM out of a tough group. I cannot. But what he did do is still underrated to this day. Look at these stats. 90+% kill participation and 37.6% of his team's total damage, leading all players in the entire tournament. But the most impressive thing Bjergsen did was his game against LGD.
Buy some time. LGD needs to get back, but Bjergsen, he'll get the kill onto Godby. TPQ will get focused out. First kill has happened. Bjergsen round the flank here. Does use something. No, now he has. Look at the minion wave up top. Bjergsen has teleported. World Championship last year. TSM take down LGD.
It was arguably the most 1v9 performance you had ever seen on the international stage at the time. TSM were sent home packing, but Bjergsen was still elite. Now, 2016 shifted everything we knew about the LCS. For some time now, Bjergsen was synonymous with TSM, and Doublelift, similarly, was synonymous with CLG. But then that all changed.
Peter, what are you doing in there?
Well, I'm teamless, dude. Can you help me?
How long have you been teamless?
A few hours.
Oh my god, alright, let's get you inside.
TSM paired Bjergsen with Doublelift. Now it became a matter of whose team it would be. There were plenty of growing pains. For a while, it seemed the super team was not going to figure it out. Could Doublelift and Bjergsen be more than the sum of their parts? And who would have to take the lead for the team to work? Well, in the summer of 2016, that question was answered.
Fights across the map. Oh, never mind. Save himself. Oh my goodness. Oh no, Smithy found one, and no more fights. Kills everybody. They've got 3.
Bjergsen and Doublelift had both flipped a switch. TSM finished the split with a record-breaking 17-1 regular season finish, and the competition between the two for MVP was fierce. This was the best version of Doublelift we had seen up to that point. But this was also the best version of Bjergsen we had ever seen. He had regained his aggression and playmaking, but he was even smarter on the Rift. Plus, his champion pool was bigger than ever. He was truly the complete package. The MVP award went to Bjergsen. See, as much as Doublelift was one of the best AD carries in the West, Bjergsen was one of the best players in the West. Bjergsen finished the 2016 summer split with the highest KDA among all mid laners, ending at an astounding 7.1 KDA. The next closest was Pobelter at 4.9. In the playoffs, Bjergsen continued his star run, achieving a 7.8 KDA and consistently outlaning his opponents. TSM headed into 2016 Worlds as legitimate contenders.
Sports, is it reasonable to say that TSM may be the strongest team in Group D next to Roll Never Give Up? I think it is reasonable.
It is reasonable. The #1 seed in the group is TSM.
And the pre-tournament player power rankings certainly only added fuel to the fire.
Coming in at number 8 on our list is Bjergsen from TSM. And I think he's the second best mid laner in the world, as you guys do as well.
TSM found themselves for the second year in a row in a group of death. But despite the odds stacked against them, TSM battled with the best. And Bjergsen put on one of his greatest performances ever against Crown and Samsung Galaxy. In 2016, Crown was one of the best mid laners in the world. His mechanics and laning were right there with Faker in the LCK. and Bjergsen beat him.
A higher spell damage. All in. Ulti does go in for a cross. Dead. Bjergsen with a perfect stun. Does get the first one. Bjergsen chains it in. Cube down now. Oh, good stuff for Bjergsen. Flash kick. Out of flash forward. Raid getting tied up in the head. Tower's already broken. Spam going to complete the ace here.
TSM should be very proud today. And this is the TSM that people were talking about.
But the second matchup against Samsung Galaxy is what everyone remembers. Bjergsen locked in Zilean, something no one had figured out how to deal with back in NA. But on the world stage, Crown demolished the pick. Bjergsen was killed in lane multiple times, leading to a strong victory that would later doom TSM. In his previous international losses, Bjergsen had largely dodged criticism, but this game was largely on him. TSM, with all the expectation, with Bjergsen playing better than he ever had in his career, still fell out in groups. Bjergsen ended the tournament with 6.1 KDA, 74% kill participation, and a staggering 20 CS differential at 15 minutes. RNG's Xiaohu expressed his sympathy for Bjergsen, saying, "I feel really sorry that he could not go on from the group stage. He played really good." Bjergsen was no doubt a strong player. But was he worthy of the number 8 spot on the world's top 20 player list? Come 2017, he would have a second chance to right the wrongs of the previous season. And it was also an interesting opportunity for Bjergsen to prove himself again. At the start of 2017, Doublelift decided to take a break, citing burnout. So Bjergsen was sorta left high and dry without his running mate. The last time Bjergsen had won a championship without Doublelift, it was the spring of 2015. So could he still carry TSM on his own? He could.
Shank to the shockwave it in time. He's not going to get to. Leo's going to find Bjergsen. He's suddenly surrounded and goodbye.
Where's the consistent
Another hook
damage?
on the
It's not
Seraph as
there.
well. Now Bjergsen. The snipes are coming through. Not quite a range anymore, but there's
Bjergsen ended the season with a 5.5 KDA, plus 12 CS differential at 15 minutes, and 18 solo kills. The team finished first place in the regular season and won another title. A title without Doublelift. If there was any question of his individual ability to elevate a team, there wasn't any more. But the same could not be said internationally. MSI 2017 was Bjergsen's second chance at the midseason tournament. TSM weren't favorites, but the expectations for Bjergsen always followed. So the team's 5th place finish was extremely disappointing. Bjergsen ended the tournament with a 5.1 KDA and a 70+% kill participation. Bjergsen played a smart tournament according to analysts, but was unable to deliver MVP caliber performances when he had to. The only saving grace for Bjergsen and TSM come summer was the fact that Doublelift was back on the team, but the team had lost some of its flair from the 2016 summer season. The team still finished first in the regular season, and Bjergsen walked away with his 3rd MVP. That was 3 MVPs in each of the last 3 years. And TSM won the split again, bringing his trophy case to 5 total trophies and 3 in a row. But after repeated failures on the international stage, people didn't know what to expect. Not to mention, Bjergsen was no longer the only shining hope of Western mid laners. For a time, Bjergsen's individual prowess was touted as one of a kind in the West. But by 2017, you already had a more well-established mid laner in Europe in Perks, and a new upstart in Caps. Suddenly, Bjergsen was just starting to become old news. But there was one last chance to rewrite the Bjergsen narrative at Worlds 2017. TSM for once was blessed with a group of life. This was the weakest group TSM had been placed in years. Surely, Bjergsen, even through sheer will alone, could carry this team out of this group. Wrong.
to the quarterfinals, and there it is. An EU beats NA on
The elimination was more disappointing than it was heartbreaking. I think fans of Bjergsen were more embarrassed than they were upset. Bjergsen ended the tournament averaging a 4.2 KDA, almost 87% kill participation, with more than 28% of his team's damage share. But that didn't matter. He lacked the clutch playmaking of earlier seasons, and his signature aggression was largely gone. He had become a passive shell, along with the rest of TSM, a player who would look good on the stat sheet after the fact. Bjergsen would still go on to dominate North America, win titles, place high on the LCS All-Pro rankings. But he would never be ranked so high heading into an international tournament ever again. And conversations about Bjergsen being one of the best Western players died down. So how good was Bjergsen in his prime? I'm not here to convince you that Bjergsen was anywhere close to Faker, or that his criticism, especially in the seasons following 2017, were not undeserved. But at the same time, in Bjergsen's prime, he was by far the most complete player in his region, winning 4 titles and 3 MVPs in the span of 3 years. He was a player that, regardless of results, constantly put up great numbers. And in the heart of his prime, in an era where Western players rarely got their share of respect from their Eastern counterparts, Bjergsen was recognized as a true talent. He really was one of a kind. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out some of my How Good Were They Really videos on my channel. And let me know in the comments which player you would like me to cover next, which prime of a player you would like me to cover next. Thank you, and I'll see you for the next one.